What's up, YouTube? So before we get started with this video, on the Get Up, they're going to be talking about how Draymond Green says that he's underpaid and underappreciated. So let's see what they have to say about that.
When the players were asked who is the most overrated player in the NBA, there was a tie between Draymond Green and Russell Westbrook. That's the one I want to bring to the table. Wendy, you made an interesting observation when I showed that to you earlier today about Draymond.
Well, Draymond believes he's one of the most underrated players in the league, and he thinks he's one of the most underpaid players, too. So that one probably hit him pretty hard.
What do you think, Jalen? Is Draymond Green overrated or underrated?
Draymond Green is underrated. I've been watching Draymond Green since he was in high school. For those that don't know, he's from Saginaw, Michigan. He was a champion then. He overachieved at at Michigan State University. He played there 4 years. And if you look back at his footage, he's changed his diet and he changed his approach and improved his jump shot. He was a second-round pick. Now he's a 3-time All-Star and a 3-time champion and a starter on the best team in basketball.
Yes, but
Okay, so first off, Jalen, you are biased. You are way too biased for this topic right here. For one thing, Jalen's from Michigan, if I recall correctly, and he went to Michigan and was part of the Fab Five. So he's got a little bit biased there about Michigan. And for two, we're not talking about what Draymond did when he first got into the league, how he changed his diet or worked on his shot. We're talking about what has he done lately. What has he done lately? And is he overrated, underpaid, or what? That's what we're talking about. So let's continue.
for how long? Because it does bring up an interesting question. Depending on how this postseason shakes out, what do you think Draymond's immediate future, Brian Windhorst, might look like?
Well, Draymond has pretty much yelled from the rooftops that he wants a contract extension this summer, which he is eligible for, and he wants a big one because he feels he is underpaid from his last contract that happened before the cap spike. The question is,
so Draymond Green better be very, very careful because his numbers have dropped within the past year and a half. He's had trouble with one of the best players in the NBA and on his team, and Kevin Durant. And he's had trouble in the past just with whatever situations on the court and off the court. So Draymond better be very careful. And as far as wanting to be paid the max, other players on the team that have more value than him have taken pay cuts for just as long as he has. So for him to be asking for top dollar, it's going to be very, very shaky, and he better be very, very careful because it's starting to look like it could be either Draymond or Kevin Durant. And by far, I'm thinking Golden State Warriors would rather keep Kevin Durant than Draymond Green. Especially if they're looking to trade for somebody else. Draymond Green has the least amount of value compared to everybody else. Compared to Clay, Steph, Durant, and maybe even Boogie. Boogie, I don't know. He kind of just came on, and he's just a different part of the team. But Draymond Green definitely has chips to be bargained with and to be traded out for everything that he's done. So let's keep going. Let's see what more they have to say.
with his body breaking down a little bit, and frankly, his last season and a half, his numbers have decreased as well. Will the Warriors be willing to give him the contract he wants? This is going to be a battle. We know because Draymond has switched agents and hired Rich Paul of Clutch Sports to go to battle for him. And the question is, if Kevin Durant leaves, will the Warriors retrofit their roster around the Splash Brothers and look to trade Draymond Green? Somewhere...
I think they definitely could trade Draymond Green because, like I said, if anybody's the least wanted or the least needed, it would be Draymond Green. Sure, he's a great leader, vocal leader in the locker room, but that could be replaced. Like I said, as long as you have those key players, Steph, Clay, maybe even Boogie, Kevin Durant, as long as you have those guys, you can definitely move forward. And like I said, Draymond's numbers have been falling. So if he were to leave, it wouldn't really make a difference. You can easily find somebody to replace Draymond Green, if not be better. So Draymond better be very, very careful with what he asked for and how he pushed the Golden State Warriors management. Let's keep going.
Secretly in a drawer or in a locked file, there's a list of trade opportunities that the Warriors have come up with for Draymond Green because they are preparing for this moment.
And the primary person the Warriors might be trying to get in a trade, their dream scenario if they lose KD is?
They will call the Pelicans
Anthony
and make an offer for Anthony Davis. Now, the big thing about Anthony Davis is what happens with the Celtics. If Kyrie walks, do the Celtics make the premium offer? Because the Celtics can outbid the Warriors. They can outbid the Lakers.
So I think the Celtics definitely could outbid Golden State just by the fact that they have more to offer. So as far as Golden State trading Draymond Green for Anthony Davis, that'd be kind of hard because that's not an even trade. That's not an even trade by far. So Golden State would probably have to give up somebody else, and I can't see them giving up anybody else that would be worth getting or trading Draymond in exchange for Anthony Davis. I can't see a Clay and a Draymond Green. I can't see the Golden State Warriors letting Clay Thomas get away. Now I could maybe I could be wrong about Clay's contract and all that. Don't quote me. I have to do some research on that. But it just wouldn't seem like an even trade. AD for Draymond, that's not even trade at all. So I would expect the Pelicans to be asking for a little bit more, just like what they'd ask for from the Knicks or the Lakers. Same thing with the Lakers. The Lakers traded the whole 90% of the team, pretty much, and they still didn't want that. So it'll be kind of hard just to trade Draymond just for Anthony Davis. I can't see that happening. Golden State would have to give up a little bit more. But let's continue.
But if the Celtics don't make a premium offer, which frankly is possible if Kyrie walks, it brings in a whole lot of other scenarios. But any team that would trade for Draymond Green would inherit the exact same issue that the Warriors are facing. He wants to be paid a huge extension this summer.
Okay, but how much?
So I would maybe pay. I'd give Draymond maybe a short contract, a year or two, or maybe 3, because after that first year, once he realizes and everybody sees that Draymond, he's a system player, and he fits very well into the Golden State Warriors system. I can't picture Draymond Green someplace else and being a star and running a team and leading a team just by himself. I just don't see him doing that. And plus, he's not that kind of player to just take over like that. So I'd give him the shortest contract possible, and then once he doesn't, perform to the level that he's been doing at Golden State, then I would say, look, bargaining chips, you're not doing as well as you did with Golden State. Most likely they didn't win a championship. So I would use those bargaining chips if I was going to talk about contracts with Draymond Green and whatever team he would be going to. Because he wants max money, but he's not being a max player right now. So let's keep going.
His numbers, do we credit to the fact that KD is there and that there's just not enough basketball to go around to maintain the numbers that he at one point in time had with his roster?
So as far as Draymond Green's numbers slumping, that has nothing to do with Kevin Durant. Actually, no, let me take that back. It might have something to do with Kevin Durant being there and Draymond not getting the ball as much as he used to. But Draymond's not making the shots that he is giving. He's not making the shots that he is able to make. So it doesn't matter if he was getting the ball more. That would make his percentage even worse because he's not knocking down the shots, open shots he has now. How you think he's going to do it if he has more opportunity? So that argument's out the window. So let's keep going.
It's a legitimate question. The other question is, he is in such a perfect spot. Look, I respect Draymond like crazy. I agree with you. I watch the Big Ten every single night. He has made himself into a really good NBA player. But he's also in the perfect circumstance for what he does. What do you think of that? Next year, the Warriors could be no KD, no Draymond, no Boogie, and add Anthony Davis. Does that feel like a possibility to you?
So what I'm thinking is, if it's between Kevin Durant and Draymond Green, get rid of Draymond Green. And tell Kevin Durant, stay with us. We'll give you what you want, and we'll get rid of Draymond Green and bring in somebody else. If you could just stay with our system, and if we can keep on winning. That would be the perfect scenario that I would tell Kevin Durant to get him to stay. Especially if they three-peat. Draymond, you are gone. You are easily replaceable than trying to replace Kevin Durant. So, I don't know. Let's keep going.
It doesn't. The Anthony Davis part doesn't seem like a possibility for me. I agree that in their starting 5, I believe only the Splash Brothers will be returning next year. But when I look at that overrated list, a couple of things kind of stood out to me. One, Draymond and Russell are both aggressive players. And so that's going to always rub guys the wrong way in a league where everybody seems to be friendly toward one another.
So this is personal, you think? These are guys taking little personal digs.
And if you look at 3, 4, 5 in no particular order, those guys were on the same team starting this year. Jimmy Butler, Wiggins, and Towns. They were all on the same team.
They probably all voted for each other.
How about that?
But how is Russell Westbrook legitimately on that list? I think he's the most underappreciated player. What he's been able to do, 3 consecutive seasons of averaging a triple-double We've never seen this before, really. And yet we sit there and nobody talks about him at all. And we say he's stat hunting or he's this. Look, Paul George and the benefit of what Paul George has done this year, some of that is to Russell Westbrook.
Sean, you know this, playing at UCLA men's gym for years. I played out there for 15 years. You was there. Russell was there. I remember when they made it to the NBA Finals. I walked down to the court and gave Russell a hug and apologized for the way that the media was assassinating this man's character and talking about his game. Since then, he's become an MVP. He's overcome KD leaving. Paul George has stayed. Billy Donovan has stayed.